There's a kind of presence that doesn't need touch to be felt, a quiet intensity that lingers just beneath the surface, where one look can pull you in and one silence can say everything. It's the kind of energy that once felt irresistible, almost consuming, as if someone could reach into your mind without ever laying a hand on you. But what happens when that same energy no longer has power over you? When the one who once felt everything begins to see everything? What if I told you that the most dangerous person in any room is not the loud one demanding attention, but the quiet one sitting in the corner who has been pushed beyond their limit? Stay with me, because what Dr. Ramani uncovered about the human mind can completely change how you see empaths forever. Ramani believed that every person carries both light and shadow inside them at all times. This truth becomes most clear when we look at the deeply misunderstood empath. Many people mistake empathy for weakness, assuming it means being too soft or too emotional. But Ramani's work showed something far deeper, something much more powerful than most people ever realize. Here is what most people never understand about empaths, and by the end of this, you will never look at them the same way again. According to Ramani, the human mind works on different levels at once. The persona is the mask we wear in front of others, the version of ourselves we show to the world. But underneath that mask is something deeper and more real. Now, imagine what happens when someone with deep emotional awareness finally removes that mask completely. What Ramani discovered about the hidden self, the shadow, reveals a truth that can completely shift your understanding of strength and vulnerability. Empaths live in what Ramani described as the tension of opposites. They feel emotions very deeply, yet they learn how to hold those emotions without letting them fully take over. They can see lies and deception clearly, yet they still choose to believe that people are capable of good. This is not foolishness or weakness. This is what Ramani called the transcendent function, the ability to hold two opposite truths at the same time without breaking. It is a rare form of strength that most people never develop. It allows empaths to stay open without becoming blind and aware without becoming cold or distant. But this is also where things become intense, and why those who manipulate others should be careful. Ramani said that the most complete individuals are those who have faced their own shadow and accepted it fully. Empaths, through repeated experiences of betrayal and emotional pain, are pushed into this process earlier than most people. They are forced to see both light and darkness in a very real way. They do not just understand kindness, they understand cruelty too. This gives them a level of awareness that cannot be easily shaken because it is built through real experience, not just theory or belief. The manipulator often looks at the empath's kindness and makes a serious mistake. They assume they are dealing with someone weak, someone easy to control or influence. But Ramani found that people who lead with their hearts often develop the strongest inner strength over time. This is because they had no choice but to build it. Their survival depended on it. Their growth came from learning hard lessons, not from avoiding them. That kind of strength is quiet, but it is steady and real. It does not need to be loud to be powerful. Pay close attention here, because this is where everything begins to change. According to Ramani's idea of individuation, every person must eventually face the truth of who they are. For many, this process is slow or never fully happens. But for empaths who have gone through deep emotional pain, this process speeds up. Their pain becomes a kind of fire that burns away illusions and false beliefs. It becomes the starting point of what Ramani described as psychological rebirth. This is where a person begins to rebuild themselves with clarity instead of confusion. One truth that many people overlook is that emotional sensitivity is not weakness at all. It is actually a form of heightened perception. Empaths do not just feel emotions, they study them, understand them, and remember them. Every lie they experience, every moment of manipulation, every emotional wound becomes information. It does not just stay as pain, it becomes knowledge. And when that knowledge builds over time, something powerful begins to happen. Ramani called this the emergence of the self, a stage where a person becomes more aligned with who they truly are. Ramani taught that real transformation does not come from comfort. It comes from struggle. He described a process where something pushed too far eventually turns into its opposite. The empath who was endlessly patient becomes firm and unshakable. The one who gave without limits becomes more careful and selective. The one who forgave everything learns when to make a final decision. This is not about losing kindness. It is about gaining control and clarity. It is about understanding when to give and when to step back. True strength, according to Ramani, comes from accepting all parts of yourself, including the parts you once ignored or hid. When empaths begin to accept their ability to say no, to walk away, and to choose peace, they do not lose their caring nature. Instead, they gain balance. They become stronger because they are no longer ignoring their own needs. They stop sacrificing themselves for people who do not value them. This shift changes everything, even if it happens quietly. There is also a difference between reacting without thinking and responding with awareness. Most people react from pain. They try to get even, they try to hurt back, or they act without understanding themselves. But the evolved empath does something different. They choose their response carefully. They act from awareness, not from impulse. They do not need to harm others to feel strong. They have already faced the most important battle, the one inside their own mind. Ramani believed that the greatest victory is not over others, but over the darker parts of yourself that try to control you. When an empath reaches this point, those who once tried to control them begin to realize their mistake. Manipulators depend on reactions. They expect explanations, arguments, and emotional responses. But when an empath becomes emotionally independent, those patterns stop working. The games lose their effect because the empath no longer participates in them. Ramani also explored how people process emotions, and he found that empaths often have a strong emotional awareness. This is not instability, but intelligence. They can sense dishonesty, read hidden meanings, and notice small changes in behavior. Over time, this awareness becomes sharper. When combined with experience, it creates a powerful ability to understand situations quickly and clearly. The empath stops reacting without thought and begins to act with purpose. This shift is what Ramani described as the transcendent function in action. It allows a person to hold emotional tension without breaking, to see truth without becoming bitter, and to respond with intention instead of impulse. The empath who has gone through deep challenges develops this ability in a strong and lasting way. They become stable within themselves. They no longer rely on others to feel complete or validated. Another stage in this process is when hidden strength finally comes forward. When someone hides their power for too long, it eventually rises. For empaths, this does not happen in a chaotic way. It happens with clarity. They stop arguing and start deciding. They stop explaining and start acting. They stop trying to fix others and begin to protect themselves. This is not cruelty, it is growth. Ramani believed that the shadow does not only hold darkness, it also holds unused potential. For empaths, this includes their ability to create boundaries and protect their peace. Through difficult experiences, they are forced to develop these abilities. And once they do not become less kind. They become more aware of where their kindness should go. They choose carefully instead of giving endlessly. What comes out of this process is a person who is balanced and whole. They are not controlled by their past, but shaped by it. They understand pain, but they are not defined by it. They move forward with awareness, strength, and calm confidence. They no longer look for others to complete them. They feel complete within themselves. In the end, true power is not about avoiding emotion. It is about understanding and guiding it. The empath who once carried the weight of everyone else's feelings learns how to turn that sensitivity into strength. They move through life with quiet confidence, staying kind but firm, open but protected, aware but peaceful. and that is a kind of power that does not need to be seen to be felt. The narcissist's power fades exactly where the empath's awareness begins to rise. And once that awareness fully opens, it cannot be reversed or taken away again. A truly awakened empath carries this quiet contradiction better than anyone else. They feel everything on a deep level, yet they choose with care who they allow into their world. They understand people clearly, but they move with caution and awareness. They forgive fully, but they never erase the memory of what they have experienced. Dr. Ramani explained that the most balanced and aware individuals are those who can hold both their light and their darkness in their conscious mind, without losing themselves in either side. They become what Ramani described as psychologically complete individuals, people who have turned their deepest pain into their greatest strength. They are powerful, not because they harm others, but because they cannot be harmed in the same way again. They cannot be easily controlled, misled, or broken by the same patterns that once affected them. And this, according to Ramani's understanding of human nature, is one of the most difficult things for a manipulative person to face. Someone who has learned to love themselves with the same depth and loyalty they once gave to others. The empath's journey from being hurt to becoming strong is not only a personal success, it is also a deep inner transformation. It is what Ramani described as the hero's path of the human mind. The empath must go into their own darkness, face what they find there, and bring back the parts of themselves that were lost. When they return, they do not just come back healed. They come back changed. They become both powerful and calm, both strong and deeply grounded in who they are. Every betrayal, every rejection, every moment of pain becomes a chance to grow into someone wiser, stronger, and more real. The empath begins to see that the very experiences that were meant to break them are the same ones that shape them into who they were always meant to become. This path is not about becoming untouchable in a cold way. It is about becoming real and grounded. It is about no longer losing yourself for others, and instead standing firmly in your own truth without fear. The psychology behind the awakened empath is deep and powerful. Once you understand it, you will never confuse their quiet nature for weakness, or their kindness for lack of awareness. They are calm because they have faced inner chaos. They are gentle because they have known real pain. They are understanding because they have been misunderstood themselves. They are strong because they have been broken and have rebuilt themselves step by step. They have looked within themselves and seen both the light and the darkness, and they have chosen to accept both. They no longer run from discomfort because they understand that it can lead to growth. They no longer chase happiness because they have found a deeper sense of peace within themselves. The awakened empath becomes someone who no longer asks who will love them, but instead focuses on how to love with awareness and wisdom. They no longer look for someone to save them because they understand that they have already saved themselves through their own growth. This level of awareness creates a steady energy that cannot be copied or taken away. It is the quiet confidence of someone who has faced deep struggles and has learned how to create something meaningful from them. When an empath reaches this stage, they no longer feel the need to explain who they are. They show that love, when guided by understanding, becomes steady and unbreakable. They show that the human spirit, when it becomes aware, can rise above every wound, every betrayal, and every dark moment it has faced. Thank you for staying with this reflection until the end. If you found meaning in these words, share this message so it can reach someone who may need to remember that their pain can also become their strength, and that awakening is not the end, but the beginning of truly becoming who you are. In the end, the journey of the empath is not about staying the same person who once gave endlessly without awareness. It is about growth, understanding, and becoming whole. What begins as deep sensitivity slowly transforms into clear vision, inner strength, and emotional balance. The empath does not lose their ability to care. They learn how to protect it. They do not close their heart. They become wiser about where to open it. Every painful experience becomes a lesson. Every challenge becomes a step toward clarity. and every moment of awareness brings them closer to their true self. The real power of the empath is not in reacting, proving, or chasing. It is in knowing, choosing, and standing firm in their truth. They no longer seek validation from others because they have already found it within themselves. They no longer fear being alone because they have built a strong connection with who they are. This is the point where everything changes, where peace replaces confusion and confidence replaces doubt. This is not the end of their journey, but the beginning of living with true awareness. A place where they no longer lose themselves in others, but instead stand fully in who they are. And in that space, they become steady, balanced, and unshakable, not because life is easy, but because they have learned how to face it with strength and understanding.